City are FA Cup champions. We've beaten Man United 2-1 in the FA Cup final, the first Manchester Derby FA Cup final. A crazy game of football for both sides, some crazy decisions. I was getting leery on the club seeing that Bruno Fernandes penalty get given. And of course, two incredible İlkay Gündoğan goals. It was absolutely surreal, the kind of quality of those finishes. We'll talk about all the goals and, of course, player ratings throughout the game. And of course, where this leaves Man City going into the Champions League final, our second Champions League final ever, next week against Inter Milan in Turkey. I'm loving life, lads. I'm loving life. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We'd really, really appreciate it. Let's just start off with what is the quickest goal in FA Cup final history. These things matter. We've seen some big goals from Louis Saha for Everton against Chelsea. İlkay Gündoğan gets a ball. It bobbles off of Erling Haaland, who's fighting, I think it's Varane or Lindelof for the ball, and then he just slices it almost across his body into the near post against David De Gea. 15 seconds in. If you want to set a tone for a cup final and take it away from the kind of the heritage of Man United, those kind of narratives that were getting spit out a little bit, the weight of winning a treble, the kind of pressure on the City players, even the talks about İlkay Gündoğan's contract, the kind of all these narratives, they all get completely put aside, brushed aside when you score a goal in 15 seconds in a cup final. It means that United are chasing the game for the rest of the game. And of course, they did get back in it. We'll talk about it in a minute. But the actual quality of the finish, and İlkay Gündoğan will go down as, I can't believe I'm seeing everyone on the screen now picking up their winners' medals. So gassed for everyone at the club. It's a special moment. İlkay Gündoğan, very, very emotional. It could be his penultimate game for Man City. The quality of the goal, İlkay Gündoğan has come up for years now. 7 years he's been at the club. So, everyone talks about the money at City. We signed him for 20 million quid, back injuries from Dortmund. He had a lot of little niggles, and it was never quite sure if he'd even play consistently for Man City. But he's come into his own. He's developed and blossomed into the prime of his career at Man City, and I'm so gassed to see him score 2 goals in an FA Cup final. The quality of that finish was impeccable. Impeccable. You have to say after that, there was a Snapchat chance from Erling Haaland. A ball gets driven in. And he was a little bit late to kind of getting on the end of it. It was a kind of half volley. Apart from that, City didn't have many chances. I can't sit here saying we should have been 2-0 up, 3-0 up by the time that the phony penalty was given. But there was a dodgy penalty, and the dodgy penalty was given against Jack Grealish. His hands were raised against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He was covering Aaron Wan-Bissaka, running in behind him. I have to sit there and say, it's not a penalty in my understanding of football. Now, maybe in the laws of the game, it is. I don't think the laws of the game accurately represent where football is going, where football should be going. It's egregious, to say the least. You've got to use your arms to jump. You've got to use your arms to defend. You've got to use your arms to get power and movement into your body. And the rules of the game are limiting, actually, footballers doing what they need to do. And Jack Grealish was doing very well to cover. And he got given a penalty against him. I thought it was embarrassing. And United needed that today. They needed dodgy penalties. They needed a dodgy red card or an injury. They needed something to make it a nasty shithouse affair. And, how stars have fallen. 20 years ago, City would have been lucky to be in a cup final. United would have found it a little bit, we're in another cup final. Now they're in a cup final and they're all crying and they're all emotional about being in a cup final and bottling it to Man City and losing it. I think they're an absolute embarrassment. In fact, they got that penalty. I'm so glad that they got the penalty. They cheated. It was bad refereeing. Cheating refereeing. I'm glad they got that and still lost the game. So fair play to Man United fans losing that. I love it. Absolutely love it. Second half, it would have been a big second half team talk for Guardiola. He has to settle down the likes of Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish. There's a lot of pushing, a little bit of argy-bargy. And of course, someone like Bruno Fernandes, he lives off of negativity. He lives off of winding people up. Maybe a little bit like me. But on the football pitch, he does it. There's a lack of quality today. City have to come out second half and just show quality to win the game. And we see that from İlkay Gündoğan. I think it's a corner that comes in and he slices it across his body. It's a beautiful finish on his left foot. He scored 2 world-class goals today. And it's interesting because City's system under Guardiola and his system since he was a manager at Barcelona is to is to kind of get the most out of open play, not the ball around. We talk about these tick-a-tacker, get the ball and try and score tap-ins and over-analyze everything. But sometimes in a cup final, you need moments of genius. You need moments of individual brilliance. You need Steven Gerrard to get you out of a jam against West Ham United in the FA Cup final. You need Drogba to volley one in like he did for Chelsea in the FA Cup final years ago. You need individual moments to power you through a final. It's all well and good playing beautiful football, but today Ilkay Gundogan had 2 moments of unbelievable individual brilliance. And you could ask Frank Lampard, you could ask Steven Gerrard, you can ask countless people, have you scored the kind of quality of goals that he has done today? And you'd have to argue, no. It's absolutely surreal. So Ilkay Gundogan, I hope, there's a big narrative. I will be talking about it on the channel later, obviously in the week. Ilkay Gundogan deserves a 2-year contract for that alone. He's still in his prime. We're not talking about a 36-year-old guy. John Terry at the back end of his time at Chelsea. He's still 30, 31, that kind of range, 32. He deserves that 2-year contract. He deserves that security. And I hope he stays at City for a long, long time to come. Let's just wrap up with all the player ratings. Ortega in goal. I didn't like Ortega being in goal. For me, I think Ederson, you have to keep that rhythm. You have to keep that momentum of knowing who your first choice keeper is. It happened. And in the second half, he pulls off an unbelievable save against McTominay and Weghorst in the 94th minute, I think it was. He was good today, Ortega. He's a fantastic keeper. No question about it. Kyle Walker, Akanji, Diaz as the kind of back three. Moments where we actually lost the ball. I think we built up slow today. I don't think we were exceptional in terms of building up from the back, and that will have to be improved upon going into Inter Milan. I think we're a little bit slow getting out, and Kyle Walker, good in terms of covering. But then you look on the flip side, defensively, did they have anything to do, really? Did they have much to do? I don't think. You look at Rashford, he went missing a little bit today. Sancho, did he get on the ball? They didn't have much to do. That's just the reality of it. John Stones and Rodri, very strong in midfield, knocking it around nice, especially in the second half. But again, it feels like a game of 3 moments as opposed to 90 minutes of football. 3 moments that led to goals. But apart from that, I can't give you any big Man United chance where Ortega's had to make a save. I can't give you any big City chance that we should have scored. 2-1 is probably the justified scoreline. The front kind of 4 for City. Look, Ilkay Gundogan, absolutely fantastic. We talked about him. Bernardo Silva, very, very, him and Grealish, very important in terms of retaining possession, keeping the ball on the inside, and they were fantastic today. I think this lineup we saw today against Man United will be the lineup that goes into Inter Milan. Maybe Nathan Ake starts, but he has come back from injury, so it might be a risk. And down the middle, Erling Haaland, bullying centre-backs. He should have scored today, really. Had a great chance in the first half on his left foot. What can I say? I'm so lucky as a City fan to see what I've seen today. It's another FA Cup final win for Pep Guardiola, his second in the country. And we are now on for a treble. You have to let me know in the comments down below, will we win a treble? But 2 out of 3, we managed the game well. I'm seeing Pep Guardiola talk to Prince William. It's a great vibe at City. Love and life. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I'll be covering the Champions League final very, very soon, and lots of great content coming out on the channel. I'll see you very, very soon.